So hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is part 3 of subqueries. In the previous two parts, we discussed about what is subquery, use the subquery in from, where and the select statement. And also in the second part, we studied about what are correlated subqueries and non-correlated subqueries. In today's part, we are going to focus on the set operators, basically in, not in, exist, any, all. So these are some operators, how we can use these operators in subqueries. So let's get started. First thing that we are going to study today is about the in operator. So I'm writing a query like this. Select the employee name, comma the department ID from the table employees where the department ID in. And here I'm writing an inner query basically. Okay. So here I'm writing select the department ID from the table departments where the department name in engineering, comma, sales. So what this inner query will basically do? So if I run this particular inner query separately, if I run it separately, so I am going to get here two departments. One is of engineering and one is of sales. That is department ID 1 and 3. So basically this inner query will result into department ID 1 and 3. And this result will be used by the outer query. So now it will select that employee name and the department ID from the table employees where the department ID is either 1 or it is 3. So basically in operator is used when we have multiple or conditions. So if I execute this particular query, I will get that employees. What is the error here? Department ID in subquery. Okay, this is department ID. If I execute this query now, I will get that employee names who belongs to department ID 1 or 3. Other departments will not be included. So I hope you understood about the in operator. Similar to in operator, we have not in operator, which will work opposite to of that of in operator. So if I execute the same query and write here not in, now this particular query will give us two departments, 1 and 3. But if I execute this outer query, it will check whether the employee does not belongs to that department ID 1 and 3. So it will give me other departments employee, 2, 4, whatever departments, apart from 1 and 3. So if I execute it now, so I'll get these 4 employees who belongs to department in 2 and 4, but not 1 and 3. So I hope you understood how we use not in and in operators in the subqueries. Now for this not in, we have another variation. What if we have null values in the department ID? So how this particular thing will work basically? So to demonstrate that, I need to first have one department ID with null value. So I'm going to update here, update the employees table. And let's say set the department ID is equals to null, where the employee ID is equals to 10. Currently, there is no department ID column with null value. Okay, row with null value. So if I execute this, now if I write select star from employees, employees, and execute this particular query, I will get here the employee ID 10 has department ID null, rest all department IDs are not null. Correct? So let's say if I write some query like this, select the employee name from the table employees where the department ID not in and the inner query is select the department ID. Okay, select the department ID from the departments where the department ID into 3 null, like this. So if I run this particular query separately, what output I'm going to get? I'm going to get the output as 2, 3. Okay. So when the department adding 2, 3 null, I'm going to get output as 2, 3. Okay. Now, if I run this particular query now, I want that department ID which are not in 2, 3 null. Okay. So basically, this particular department ID is only giving me two outputs, 2 and 3. So apart from 2 and 3, whatever outputs we have, that this query will give us, correct? So if I execute it now, what I'm going to get? Employee name, comma, department ID. If I write like this. So I'm getting all the department IDs, correct? All the department IDs apart from department ID 2 and 3, but I'm not getting null also. I'm not getting the null. So I'm not getting here Jack, employee name Jack. Neither I'm getting the employee name here. If I write like this, select the employee name also, comma department ID also. Now here I'm writing from the employees table. My department ID is like this. If I execute here, I will get this. I'm getting Jack. No, I'm not getting Jack. Even if I have included here, I want the department ID null that then also include. So then also I'm not getting Jack here. So what is the problem? If I write like this, select employee name from the table employees, okay, where the department ID not in 2 comma 3 comma null, directly like this. So if I execute this now, what I'm going to get? Nothing. Now here I'm getting nothing. So basically the output is none. I'm not getting any output. Output is nothing. I'm not getting null also. I'm not getting any output. So no output is shown. So this is nothing but 0 rows are fetched. But we know there are some employees who belongs to department ID 1 and 4. Here I have specified not in 2, 3 null, but there is other department ID 1 and 4. So why the employees belongings to 1 and 4 are not shown? So basically how this query is working. So here the department ID is compared with not equal to 2. Then and department ID is compared with not equal to 3. And the department ID is compared with not equal to null. So basically this department ID not equal to null. This is nothing but we have already discussed null is nothing but an unknown value. So when we compare unknown with an unknown value, this is nothing but the result is nothing but unknown. Correct? Now in this case, department ID not equal to 2. This is true. Department ID not equal to 3. True. Correct? And department not equal to unknown value is unknown. I can't determine it is true or false. So basically this overall result will give me false. True and unknown is nothing but false. Correct? If it is true and true and true, then only in and logical operation we will write here true. But here the third value is unknown. So the overall result here is nothing but false. So that's why it is not fetching any rows. So this is the problem with not in if our table of if any record has a null value. So basically how to fix this particular query now. So we can write like this. Select the employee name from the employees table. Okay. Where the department ID not in. Okay, not in. Now here we have to select the department IDs 2, 3 and null basically. Correct? So we can write here select department ID from departments where the department ID is not null. Okay. And department ID in 2 comma 3 like this we can write. So basically this particular query will check whether the department is 2 and 3, 2 or 3. And if we specify like this department is not null. So basically that null value will not be considered. So if I run this query, I will get only that particular employees who belongs to department ID 1 and 4. So if I run this, I will get that employees. So to be more specific, I can write a department ID also. And if I run this, I will get only that employees who belongs to department ID 1 and 4. So this is how we can fix it. So now let us discuss about the next operator, that is exist and not exist. So what is exist and not exist? So basically exist will not ask what value the subquery is returning. It will ask whether did the subquery return any rows. So it is going to be true or false. it is not telling us which value. It doesn't want a value that is returned by the subquery, but it wants whether the subquery is returning any row or not. Only true. If it is returning any row, that can be any number of rows, then true. If it is not returning any row, then it is false. So this is the working of exist and not exist. To be more clear, we'll write some example. Let's say select the customer name, okay, from the table customers. And I'm giving a table alias C, where exists. Now here I'm writing one inner query. Select one from orders table and table alias is O, where O dot customer ID is equals to C dot customer ID. So what exists do basically? Exists check whether at least one row exists in the subquery. If the subquery returns one or more rows, exist is true. If the subquery returns none of the rows, then exist is basically false. So let's say select star from customers. If I write this particular query, so we have 6 customers here, customer ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And select star from orders. From orders. Okay. In this case, we have 4 orders with customer ID 2, 3 to 6. So basically, it will just compare first customer ID. Is it present here? No. So it is not selected. Customer ID 2 is present. At least one record is present. Yes, true. So customer 2 is selected. That is customer 2 is Bob. So customer 2 is selected. Similarly, it will move to the next customer ID 3. Is 3 present in customer order also? Yes, present. So customer 3 is also selected. Charlie. Okay. Then 4. Is 4 there in the orders customer ID? No, not selected. 5 is there? No. 6 is there? Yes. So 6 is selected like this. So basically there should be at least one row which is true. Now in this case for Bob, there are 2 rows which are true. It will not check for the another row. If the first row, if it find that the first time it is true, then it will not check for the another row. It will just return it is selected. So I hope you understood this. And 6 is selected. That's why for this particular query, we are getting the result as Bob, Charlie, and Frank. Now basically, now what is this particular 1? So instead of 1, we can write anything here. So instead of 1, we can write star also. Then also it will give us the same output. If I run this, I will get the same output Bob, Charlie, Frank. Instead of star, you can write customer ID also. If I write customer ID, okay, then also I will get the same output Bob, Charlie, Frank. Now this doesn't matter. So whether you are using select one or you're using select star or you're using select any column name, this doesn't matter because exist will only check whether a row exists or not. So for the inner, if the inner query runs, is there any row fetched or not? That only it will check. It is not checking the data, what data it is returned, whether it is returning one or it is returning all columns or it is returning a single column, nothing. So you can use your select one also, select star also, select any column also, anything you can use. But the condition is that at least one row it should fetch so that the exist will become true. So I hope you understood this particular thing. Similar to this, we have opposite of that, that is not exist. So if I write the same query here, and here I will write not exist. So basically it will provide me the customer name from the customer table, which does not exist here or not exist. Basically, it will give me that employee names who have not placed any order. So apart from these 3 employees, Bob, Charlie, Frank, it will give me the another employees who have not placed any order. So I will get Alice, Diana, Eve. Other three customers, sorry. So I hope you understood about exist and not exist operator. So let us move to the next operator, that is any and all. So basically any means at least one match and all means from the word itself every value must match. Let us try to understand this with the help of examples. So if I write here, select the employee name from the table employees. Okay. Then I'm writing where salary is greater than any, any, this is one operator, any, and here I'm writing the inner query as select the salary from table employees where department ID is equals to 4. This is my particular query. Let's say I'm going to select here display salary also. Now, what this particular query will work and how what output it will display. So inner query select the salary from employees where department ID 4. So this particular query will return only a single value, correct? So wherever the department ID is 4, it will return the salary of that particular department. So select salary from employees by department. Okay, department ID is DEPT. So if I run this particular query, I will get a salary 30,000 of that particular department ID for where it is there. I'm getting the salary. Okay. Now this salary will be used in this particular outer query where salary is greater than 30,000. Is the case like this? What is the use of this any operator basically? Okay. So any means is my salary greater than at least one salary in the subquery result? What I'm trying to say is my salary greater than at least one salary in the subquery result? Then only fetch it. So instead of let's say department ID 4, if I write a department ID 1, I will get many results. I'm getting here 4 results: 90,000, 75,000, 85,000, 95,000. Okay. Now this outer query will check whether that particular employee's salary is greater than at least one, any one of that but this salary. Okay, so let's say my salary is 80,000. So is it greater than 90,000? False. It is greater than 75,000? True. It is greater than 85,000? False. It is greater than 95,000? False. But we have found at least one value from this particular inner query for which my salary is greater, correct? That is for 75,000. Then we can consider that particular employee. So this is the use of the any keyword. Okay, let's say here I'm going to write employee department ID 1 only. So if I execute this particular query, I will get Alice salary 90,000, Charlie 85,000, and Hank 95,000. So why I'm getting this particular salary? Why I'm getting this particular salary? Because it is greater than at least one salary from this result. This result gave me the lowest salary 75,000, 85, 95. And this result, whatever is the value, which is greater than 75,000, 85,000 like this. Correct? So I hope you understood this particular thing. Now let us try to understand about any and in. Okay. So if I write something like this, where department ID equals to any, and here I'm going to write select department ID from departments. This is my one query. And another query is where department ID in select department ID from departments. Now these both two queries are equivalent or same. So if you're going to write any, so we can write equal to any. If you're going to use in operator, you can write directly in like this. Okay. So basically any is equivalent to in when we use equal to. So any is equivalent to in when we use equal to. But if you are using any greater than less than, it is not equivalent. Correct? So I hope you understood this particular difference. Now let us move to the next operator, that is all. All means every value must match. But in any it was at least one value should match. In all every value should be matched. So if I write here select employee name, comma salary from the table employees where salary greater than all. And here I'm going to write select the salary from the employees table where the department ID, let's say equals to 4 and salary is not null. If it is null, In our case, it is in our data set, the salary is not null basically, but if it is null, we can write like this. If I execute this, now what is the salary of employee where department ID is 4? It is 30,000. We have already uh, displayed that in the previous example. So I will get that particular employee name and salary from the employees table whose salary is greater than 30,000 basically. Basically, this particular result is only providing me one value because for department ID 4, there is only one employee in my table. If I write here department ID 2, let's say if I execute this particular query separately, okay. So in department ID 2, I have two employees. One salary is 60,000 and another is 55,000. Let's say if I have used here any operator and my salary is let's say 58,000. So for the first value, it may be false and for the second, it will be true. In that case, it will check whether at least one is true or not. So if I am now using all operator, it will check whether for the both it is true or not. Correct? So for example, my now salary is 58,000. So for first it is false and for second it is true, but overall it is false only because I'm using here the all operator. Okay. So if I run this particular query now, how many employees I'm getting? I'm getting 4 employees whose salary is 90,000, which is greater than 55 and 60. 75,000 greater than 55, 60. 85,000 which is greater than 55, 60. And of course 95,000. So I hope you understood about the all operator also. So I hope you understood about the in operator, not in operator, exist operator, not exist operator, any operator and all operators. So these were all the operators that we use in the subqueries business. If you found this today's video helpful and interesting, do like, share and subscribe the channel for more such videos. Thank you so much for watching. Keep learning.